Speaker. She is going to present on implementing continuous improvement process in technical documentation. Can we start, Shanti? Thank you.
Good morning to everybody. I am Shanti Srinivasan, Principal Technical Writer from Oracle India. Today's topic is about implementing continuous improvement process in technical documentation. So let's get started. So the agenda is very simple because the concept is also very simple, but it's very difficult to implement. Okay, so let's see what is continuous improvement is, and talk little about the wheel of quality. So we know how we all these concepts, how it's all fitting together, and the kind of actions that is required for the continuous improvement, and how we did it in the team in Oracle, how we did that, and what were the results that we got, and some references that you can take away. So this is typically from Wikipedia, right? So it's systematically, trying to make some small incremental changes in the processes or in your products or your services, okay, to improve the efficiency and quality. So we all do improve our documentation. So we always strive to do that, but we always get caught by the releases. Every time we want to do something, we get away with something, at the end it will be like, different. Because we always tend to go with the releases, we really come out of the way what we want to do. So these things happen. I think this is quite often I have seen in my 9 years of career, always this happens. So it's like you end up doing something, but it's always different how it goes to the customer. So before getting into this continuous improvement, since we are all talking about customer focused documentation and customer focus, so why is all these things being spoken about? From where all these concepts are being taken? So this is a simple quality management principle, because today quality is not just about conforming to any specifications, right? So quality can be defined in different ways by different people. So it's about what customer wants or what the user requires nowadays, and it's also like adhering to any standards. So all these are all about quality. So if you see this, I hope it's quite clear. So this is the wheel of quality. So if you see in the center the three elements, the customer focus, variation, and continuous improvement. So these are the three elements, the central elements for quality. So for maintaining quality, so these are the three main elements that we follow it. And so you need to know who is your customer. I think yesterday there were very good sessions on customer collaboration and customer focused documentation the lean way. I think so everybody talked about how do you connect with your customers, knowing your customers, getting the feedback from them. So it's all about the customers we know. So we should know who are customers also. So we have the internal customers in terms of your stakeholders, or your external customers whom the product is being delivered. So when I say there are some situations where some people even don't know who their customers are. There are many situations like who are you writing to. I think an example would be like a very humorous example would be like a dog food. So who is your customer for that? It's not, who is the customer for that, but still the marketing and the sales effort will be towards the dog owner, but not to the dog, right? So you should know who are your customers. So whom are you going to write to? And it also like what they want, right? And now it's the next step that you get into, what they want. So we interact with them. We try to get the relationship, maintain the relationship with them. So the continuous improvement again is one of the main element here is the based on the feedback that you get from your customers, you provide the improvements, you give the improvements in your documentation. And variation is like adhering to the standards, whatever you have defined it, and not going away from it. How much ever the peak or the variation that you have, you need to within your tolerance limit. And even within the tolerance limit, there shouldn't be any variations. No, there should be not so much of variation even within the tolerance limit. So these are the kind of things that we follow in documentation. I think we can try to bring that out in terms of your number of bugs that are coming in, or number of, the estimation, and in terms of your planned and the actual. So all this kind of statistics that you can get to see how the variation is. So if you see the next ring is the aspects of these elements are the requirements, processes and control. So these are not separate, so these are again all share a boundary here, because in terms of requirements, it's all about what the customer is requiring, and what is also the specification of the product that you take up and you start documenting on that. So based on that, that is what you do. That is what we all do. The requirements and the processes, that is the technical in terms of your tools, or what kind of tools you use to do the documentation, or the kind of the style guide that you use. So all this kind of techniques that you bring in to do what we do. So, and then the controls. The controls is defining what is your deliverable timing, schedule, keeping up your schedule, and it's also about the number of bugs that you keep it reduced, whether you don't want to see such kind of things. So all whatever that you try to put a list of, not trying to adhering to the standard that the whole team should be maintaining. So that those are the things that you have in as controls. So all these things are again, it all shared by it. It shares the boundary here, the requirements, processes and the controls. So that's how the whole thing comes, is like what we do, how we do and why we do. So it's all about that. Now, if you see in the center of this is the training. So what is the training here is like, it is a foundation of this quality. So if a project manager wants to achieve the kind of quality in the documentation, it's all about having the proper training to its team members. So if you're trying to implement a CMS, or if you're going to change from one to the other, or it's also about bringing a new hire, what happens here is you do train the writer for that particular tools or your particular standards, whatever, because they have to adhere to that standard. So you give the training. Anything, any improvement that you want to make or you want to bring in about, it's all about giving the training to your team members. So the team members, without the kind of training, I don't think we can do any of these things over here. So the training is the foundation of this quality. And if you see the whole, yes.
So this training, does it involve domain and product training?
Yes, of course.
Just training, or it comes under?
No, this training is, even it's your domain, whatever. If suppose if your team member doesn't know anything about Solaris or any kind of Unix commands, definitely if you're handling such kind of documentation, it is essential that you give some kind of basic training on those commands, so that they understand. Even when you go and attend any kind of meeting with your engineering team, right, you should be able to understand what is happening. Some kind of basic knowledge is required. For example, we have in Oracle, actually we in the team that we work is we work on a product which is of is a very complex management tool application which caters to very complex engineered systems in terms of hardware and software. So I mean, definitely if you see my background in engineering, it is totally different. I am from a textile background. I can't even think of writing for an hardware document. But still, the kind of training that I have received, now when we go forward in the product, so we do, I still write about networking today. I write about storage stuffs today. But still, it's the kind of training that I have received, the kind of interest that we have put in to cater to these things. So the training is a kind of a core here. That's a foundation for this quality. Nothing could be achieved, unless otherwise you provide the training. You cannot just bring in a change. Whenever we say change, there is always a resistance, right? When the moment we say we want to change from here to there, that's it. Everybody just doesn't want to change from where you are. So when you want to bring in a change, and that to a very good change, definitely a training is the foundation for that. the whole circle, if you see, it's the leadership that surrounds it. That the whole thing is bound by the leadership. That is a project manager. So how they pull in all these things and bring it together. So all things depends upon the leadership style. So the leadership style again will vary from organization to organization, and it also depends even upon the type of product that we are doing. So it all depends. So for this, here I'm going to only concentrate on continuous improvement. So in continuous improvement, there are 3 specific actions that we need to take up. So the first action is, it's about communication. We are all technical communicators, so we all know about what is communication is. So it's also about communication is the channel, you open your channels of communication with your stakeholders, your even external customers, your support people, technical, sales, marketing, open up your channels on all these places so that you get feedback, you can see your problems and also the opportunities. It's only not about just looking out for problems, it's also looking out for opportunities that you can exploit. So when we say communication, we can say that like how many times have we taken up documentation and showcased it to our engineering team? I think we wouldn't have done it mostly. So show that your engineering team, do a show and tell of how your documentation is. Definitely a developer, I think they are also part of a kind of they have their own place in their food chain also, right? So it's like you go and show, because they are very focused on one particular action or one particular wizard in the product, right? So when you take the whole of your documentation and go and tell it your engineering developers also, so you come out with like, you open up their minds. In fact, they will also like, okay, so this how it sits in. So the next time they think is like, okay, see, I'm going to do some change, so this is where it's getting affected. So immediately we come to their mind, okay, see, let me tell them. So something, the kind of relationship that you try to maintain here. So you open up that all the channels of communication. I think yesterday also we saw good how do you collaborate with your customers. So in terms of user communities, social media, networking and blogs, what all. So you have different modes to see what is the problem and also what are the opportunities that are available to improve yourself. So that is how we have evolved. The documentation has evolved right now in terms of catering to the new technology, right? To the mobile devices, to your EPUBs, whatnot, to the applications, the kind of devices and the technology has grown. So we have also evolved for that. So when I say communication, so there are 2 things coming out. One is the problems, the feedback, and the next one is the opportunities. So the moment we say the problem, we always look for a corrective action. So the corrective action is all about fixing the problem. So when I say fixing the problem, it's not just, okay, something, if I say the link is not working. Suppose in your documentation, a particular link in a guide is not working. You go and fix it, you again republish it, it's all done. But if you give little thought to it, like these kind of feedback is coming more, that links are not getting working, many of these places. If you're getting these kind of feedback again and again, so there is something fault not with the person or the people who are doing it, it is with the process, right? So we correct the process, we correct it, see that it doesn't occur again. So that's how the correcting action should be. It's not just for the one time where we do it and we just, okay, for now it's been fixed, let me not worry whether it occurs again or not. So the corrective action should be in such a way that it does not occur again. So look for a solution that it does not occur again. So when I said communication, I said opportunities also. So always look for the opportunities. For example, like what happened in our team was that we had a lot of issues in terms of categorizing the information on our doc library. So what happened was that the user was not able to identify these links on the documentation. They didn't even know that it was a link. So there are so many issues that we got the reports like that. So at the same time, we want to improve the documentation on these areas. So we know we have to have an action plan which has to be done. At the same time, what happened was our whole entire Oracle help center as such in terms of docs was also changing, the kind of responsive design. So they went towards that. So we know that it was coming. So there was a plan going on. So we also know that there is going to be some kind of, we can now tell them, I want my information on this library to be categorized in this way. So I can make use of that opportunity at that place to make my changes. So we exploited that opportunity at that place, and we went and implemented our change. So for all this continuous improvement, there is one particular methodology which is a very famous and popular, and it's something that has been applied everywhere, is the PDCA cycle. So this PDCA cycle, or is the Deming's wheel. Deming was one of the quality management gurus. So he had this concept coming out of it: plan, do, check, act. PDCA, plan, do, check, act. So it's very easy to remember it. So we'll go one by step, how this PDCA works. So the moment we say the plan is all about collecting your customer feedback, listing out all your issues in different way. How you collect the feedback, I think you have different sessions how it's all done. So you know how your feedback right now. So now prioritize the issues that you want to fix. List out your issues and prioritize the issues. Now focus only on that issue that you want to do in your document. It's not like you take everything. You don't want to take everything and just do the change. So you now focus only on that particular, say for example, like say the first 5 issues, or the first issue which is really very major one, I'm going to do that. So just select only that particular one issue and bring out a solution for that issue. So when you bring out a solution for that issue, you should see that it is something which is accepted by the user also at the end. If you're catering to the user, it's also about the user must be accepting it. Try to change that you want to do. How do you want to plan for it? For example, like this project, like when you take this as a project, your background, your regular process will be going on in terms of documentation. You will be doing your updates, you will be doing your new features, there will be releases which will be going on. But this will also be running parallelly to you, to the existing or the background process. So when you know your releases, you know in which release you want to go and implement this particular project, so that that solution is implemented. So the next one is doing. Doing is nothing but implementing your change, seeing how the change is implemented. Just check out how, go around, all these surveys and all this, the way you do it. And then check. Check is when you're, the one thing that in planning that comes is like you also define how you're going to analyze or assess your change. So you should have some standards set while planning in terms of how you're going to measure what you're going to do, what you have done. So in terms of say the number of hits or the feedback that is coming from the customers, or it can be whatever, the terms of goals, whatever the goals you have set, you need to define how you're going to measure that goal at the end. So that will be your checking. And acting is so the moment you have the change, there will be slight you want to make more modifications to your solution. So and then and then make that as the standard one. So for example, like if you have a process defined, so what happened in our team was that we had a lot of wizards were there. So we were providing the inline text for the wizards. So there was always a confusion, and in the end what was happened was there was always reported that some of the wizards were blank with the help text. So there was no help text. So why it was happening? So the engineers put the blame on us. Obviously. So we are the one like goats over there, so the blame was on us. Like they didn't provide the help text. So first of all, we didn't know there was one option coming out there. So this all things happened. So this cycle was going on, and it was really to the point that they are not going to do any process. They are not going to streamline any of the process on their side because they have n number of things to do, then try to see your documentation is going good or not. So we did what we did was like, okay, we streamline our process. We know what we want to do. So we streamline our process. We said, okay, here we are going to have, we are going to watch anyway. That is how our work is. So we are going to watch all these use cases and any other wizards coming in. We will create a service request. So once a service request is created, it's assigned to me as such, like a writer will be assigned to it. So once the writer is assigned, we will deliver the help text. Once we deliver the help text, we will assign that service request back to the UI engineer because it is now on his head to finish it and put it in the UI. So now either you give me back the saying that the help text is not correct or there is no help text, there is some way to check something is there. So what happens here is somewhere the engineers also found that that they cannot come out of it, like they are also being caught in some kind of a process. So when we did this process, now this became a standard right now. So, and we also internally in a doc team as such, we maintain the status reports of each writers, what are the wizards they're handling, and then how much, who has delivered what is the service request number. So those things were all automatically got managed. So when we were clear about to the engineering team that like, okay, see, these are the wizards. If you are going to develop more wizards, you have to tell us. If you don't tell us, we also not knowing it. So some kind of the process that we want to improve, and we improved it and we implemented it, and now that has been set as a standard. Once I set that as a standard, it becomes like every time any new hire or any new person coming into the team, they have to be trained on this. See, this is how the process goes and this is what you're maintaining. This is what we are doing. So you train them on this, like showcase that how we are doing it. So now the next thing would be like, if I want to improve the process more, who is going to raise the service request? So that's again a big question out for us to improve the process out there. So the another project as a continuous improvement, what we did was, as I said, our doc library, the categorization was totally haywire because it had a lot of articles, it had a lot of workflows, it had a lot of guides, and customer didn't know where to click for what information. We had a lot of issues about it. So we got all the we conducted a lot of customer feedback sessions. Really, when we did the customer, I think like for the past, the product is been there for around 7 years, but like for the first 3 or 4 years, we were doing a very normal guides as a reference guide, one admin guide, one installation guide. So we were doing everything, but when we improved ourselves to provide scenario-based documentation to them, then after that, now the number of documents to the library got increased. When that got increased, the categorization was a total chaos out there. So we went around, conducted customer feedback sessions. We went and checked how the customer was, using the documentation. What was there, how they were doing their work, and what is the purpose of them. How they are going to use this documentation. So all these kind of sessions we did, and then we got all the results of it. So based on that, we prioritized our results, what we want, the problems which we want to focus. So we defined our scope and objective. An objective is the goal that we are going to set out, like this is what we want to do. So we defined that, and then we did the plan and schedule for that. So based on that, we created a lot of, we need to change the design of the doc library, how the information is displayed. So we did a lot of mock-up designs. Internally, first, all the team members, as a team, we tried to rank, we all ranked those designs first, because there are like 5 designs with us right now. So we ranked those designs, and then based on that, we took 2 designs out of it, the top 2 designs out of it. Then we created mock-up designs, complete mock-up of it, and then we went back to the customers again asking them to do, we did focus groups in terms of a defined procedure to do, make them to do on the mock-up design. We saw how they were doing those certain actions on the UI. From based on that, we created, we also gave them a survey for them to complete, and then we ranked all this, we categorized, giving ranks to all these survey results, and out of that we selected the design that we want to implement, and we implemented it. So this is a kind of a learning curve for anybody of us in the team. So that's what, so based on this, what was the results was that, like, the customer participation and engagement. Since we went back to the customer with the mock-up designs, they were very happy. Okay, I mean, you have taken our input and you have done something to the library. So they were very happy to get involved with us to, to give more feedback, and also, like, this is how they were opening up and telling us how they were doing their work, in fact. So that was a great experience for us when we interacted with the customers. I think just a week back when I was talking, I was having one more feedback session with a customer. So we got the call from the support saying that they are very happy customers, and those people were from Romania, and they had very limited English words to speak. So every time we were asking the questions, how do you feel about this guide? How do you see about this article? So they were like, it's very good. It's very good. Everything was very good. I cannot have 100% satisfied customer. Definitely something is seriously wrong with this. So we went and prodded them again. So how do you do your work? How do you, so these were all some kind of experience that we had. Then we found out, like, then the customer opened up and he said, it is little annoying to open 4 or 5 documents to do one patching. Okay, so this is what we want. So, like, these are kind of experience, like, just because they say it's very good, we just don't get stopped by that. We were trying to, these are all experience that we learned out of this. So as I said, there is a good relationship with our customers right now. So when we are now coming out with a beta release, so we are telling them, like, would you be involved in the beta testing? Like, okay, they are readily involved, and even for the documentation, they are readily involved to give out the feedbacks. So that is the great rapport that we have formed with our customers. And the individual performance of the team members. Here, when I say the continuous improvement as a project here, each and every team member has a role to play. So it's about, when we say quality, quality is not just by the QA person or by the lead art writer or by the information architect in the team. So it's everybody's responsible for the quality in the documentation. So how do you bring that sense of quality to individual? It's about playing different roles, different roles apart from writing whatever the update, patching, apart from that, you play a different role, talking to the customer, collecting the feedback, listing it out, and you have a problem. Now how do you, brainstorming the solutions, and we're coming out. So it also, what it leads to is to innovative ideas. Continuous improvement projects have known to bring out the creativity and the innovative ideas within the team. So it's something very much tested, this kind of projects, in any manufacturing industry, in any production industry, they do have this, a person as continuous improvement process engineer. So I think as a in documentation also, I think we should also be having parallel projects running just to improve our documentation, where the focus is entirely on improving the documentation. So, and it's also about coming out of your comfort zone. So you are very happily doing your documentation writing, take the feature, update it, you have published the book, you're done. No, it's like you have to go and talk with your customers. You need to now learn about some of the ranking methods. How do you want to give some ranking methods and come out of the result? You need to go and read some of the management books on that. How do you come out with some kind of statistical methods that we want to how ranking and do the surveys. And also survey, when we say survey, I've seen people how, especially the users, how impatient they will be in filling out the surveys. So definitely how you want to define your questionnaires also, it's a kind of a learning. I think what happens here is right from any associate technical writer to any lead technical writer, everybody is getting involved. So next time, if I have an associate technical writer, given a feature and update the document, I think they are giving more thought to it. Like, it's not just adding one section and writing about the topic, right? So it now gives more value, like, what the customer wants, what is about the feature. Some kind of thinking has been put into these all levels of people in the team. I think this is all about I have for continuous improvement. What I would conclude is that, like, find fault with the process and not with the person. So it's all about the process. Somewhere something is not tight, so you need to just make it tight. So it's all about coming out with your process, and your background process will be going on, but still these are all improvement projects. We'll always try to look into how we want to bring out the change in your documentation. And one caution also would be here is, depending upon the team size or how many team members that you have in your project, you should not have very multiple improvement projects running simultaneously, because you need to apply these kind of methodologies with caution. Maybe one project, depending upon the team size, 1 or 2 projects running simultaneously in a yes. Yeah, sure.
I will just please take a moment. Before we end this session, I have a small announcement. I would request all of you to assemble at the Trinity Hall 1 for several announcements, and we have an awards and recognition program also at 12:30. After that, we will proceed with the lunch. Thank you.
So these are 2 references which I found very interesting to read, especially We the Ideal Customer Relationship by Steve Astro, a very good book, nice to read. How you want to connect with your customers, kind of forming the we relationship with the customer. It's not about I, it's about we. He talks very good in that book. It's something good to read. So any questions? That's yes.
Documentation, and were you able to, I'm talking about process improvement sustenance,
Yes.
right? So if you're going to test it only on one particular product or something like that, might not work.
Yes,
So-
yes. So we, when we were doing the focus groups, that's what the testing out it, we were doing it across different teams in terms of internal as well as with the customers. So internally, if I see, there are even we took upon people who are not even related with the product, because we can get some idea how they move about in the UI, when they're given an action, how they move about in the UI to find certain things on the UI. And also about very experienced people who have been using the product. For them, it's like, go and find this. Like, for example, what we did was, when we do with such kind of design testing, we said do not use the search, no search. So we have a set of instructions what they have to do. So it was across different product teams and in terms of experience as well as.
Okay. My second question is, do you have any repository where you've saved all this process improvement documents, because you would have documented it? Reason is, some XYZ will walk out of the company and he walks out with that process
Yeah,
idea.
so when I say plan and schedule, right? So planning is all about having all these things in a place, right? You have a collab space in your org, so you put across it, you save all those kind of files, whatever related. So when I say project, how you do your documentation project, it has its own location of saving things. So the same thing, it's also a project. So you have your own files and folders where you put across this, because out of this you're going to have your lessons learned out of it. So definitely, which you take these things when you are going to do documentation for new products, because these are the kind, we know these are all tested standards which will be applicable across any place. So we always save all those things. Okay. Yeah. Yes.
So you initiated it from the documentation team side, or were you part of the meeting that was scheduled by the support team?
That's something. So what happened was like 3-4 years they didn't even allow us to talk to any customers
I mean,
of the start of the product.
I'm also from Oracle.
So we don't,
so I was just
so
wondering.
this was something, without knowing what your customers are doing, definitely there is no kind of improvement that we can make, right? Only from the support, it's not going to happen. So something that we push towards top management to give us, have a, at least attend the meetings, and also the next step was, first was attending the meetings along with the support team, and the next step was getting our own feedback sessions arranged with the customer. So it was a big fight.
Okay, I understand. So that's what I wanted to know. So initially you were part of the
Yeah,
meeting.
so
that
I
was
don't know,
scheduled
if
by
you're an
support.
Oracle, you should know Michael Otterson's
Yeah.
team. So the goal is like we need to have those engineering directors have one-on-one mapping for the documentation that they have to provide. So we pushed with all these kind of channels and we pushed it.
So for how many products you had these meetings?
Right now we have done, I have been working on only one product right now. So just now I moved to the next other product. So for the first product that I worked only, we did this.
Thank you.
So thanks for the session.
That was an interesting session by Shanti. Thank you, Shanti. May I request Joe Wilinski to hand over the memento, please? Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Shanti.